Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my team selection and transfers ahead of Matchday 8 in UCL Fantasy. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. So what I'm going to do is have a quick check-in with how Matchday 7 went, looking at the bus team as it is, and then the transfers that I'm going to action, as well as a reminder of the rules for UCL Fantasy this season, because obviously there's been a format change and that will have an impact on the moves that I make as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So match day 7, the trend was generally having like 90, 80 points. Match day 6 worked out really well with Limitless Chip and kind of hit the buffers in match day 7, a small red arrow. And ultimately, it was my transfer of Timber, who annoyingly got subbed off literally seconds before the hour mark, and then he also picked up a yellow card, so 0 points for him. And then on the whole, quite a few other players just were missing in action. No Emre Can, Verts just had a bad match day, and Minen didn't sub him on. Karnaseki got the clean sheet on the Tuesday, and then Luca Dean's just been a complete troll for me in UCL Fantasy, as is the case in FPL as well. That whenever I start him, he doesn't do well, and when I bench him, he does really well. So ultimately, it was the Rafinha captaincy, the inspired pick of making that move to get him in, and it ultimately paid off. Got Pulisic and Lookman as well. Pulisic really was a massive injury doubt, so yeah, that couldn't ask for more. I mean, just really had to sub on Ristovski. That's how desperate things got. Foden, Haaland let the team down, unfortunately. Same with Harry Kane as well. Got very lucky with Lookman getting subbed on and played half a match and getting 9 points. Gyökeres, yeah, I mean, 5 points isn't enough against Leipzig. So on the whole, probably one of my worst match days of the season. But then you look at the context there. If 70 points is bad, then that's the way things have progressed so far. 32 pointer in match day 2 completely wrecked me. I've recovered a lot since then, but still a lot of ground to catch up on. And just wanted, before I go into the actual transfers themselves, an important reminder of the rules. So in seasons gone by, of course, we go straight to the round of 16 with unlimited transfers. But of course, we have this two-legged knockout phase for teams that are placed 9th and below. And then, of course, there's the elimination phase for the last few teams. So it's those essentially mid-table teams, as it were, who have to play these additional 2 matches. So as it stands, I've got the 2 free transfers going into match day 8. Then we all have unlimited transfers for the knockout phases. Here we go. And then 2 additional transfers for the second leg. And then round of 16, unlimited transfers once again. So really, if you've not rolled any transfers over, it's not like FPL where you can roll 5 free transfers over. You've got tons of unlimited transfers around the corner. So that's the state of play in terms of the upcoming transfers that we've got available. Of course, 2 free transfers in this window. And I've already made a separate video in terms of teams that you can target against, target for, in my Limitless Chip video that I released earlier this week. Feel free to check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. So I'm not going to go heavy into those specific teams. But in terms of the state of play with who I do want to keep for match day 8 specifically, Harry Kane. It's a must-win match for Bayern. Got to keep him. Must-win match for Gyökeres so that Sporting have a chance to stay in the playoff spot. So probably have to keep him as well. Haaland is a keep. Rafinha is question mark because with Barcelona that they've effectively qualified for the actual top 8 now based on mathematical probabilities. Foden keep, because if Man City don't win, they'll be in the elimination zone and there's no playoff. Lookman, I think it's looking good, reasonable. I think basically Atalanta really shouldn't lose against Barcelona in that final match. Must win for Bayer Leverkusen and for AC Milan as well. Must win for Dortmund, and Aston Villa must win if they want to get a permanent top 8 place. And annoyingly for them, had a shock loss the previous week and they're in trouble. I think Arsenal are all but qualified now, and you got Ristovski for Dynamo Zagreb, and then the goalkeepers, Milan, Milan must win, and they got Atalanta. I'd say that's a must win as well. So I've basically identified that the player that I would want the most is a midfielder. So Rafinha, I'd say that if there's a big hitter that I could probably get rid of, albeit for this particular rotation-laden match day, it's Rafinha. I'm not saying that he's going to be rotated, but I think his minutes will certainly be managed in many respects. Same with the Liverpool players as well. So Liverpool and Barcelona, like, just no interest there, and that's why I didn't go and get Mohamed Salah or Liverpool cover in the previous match day. So that basically leaves us with the midfield options. If we just sort it by just percentage, first of all, yeah, Lamine Yamal, not going to get him. Rafinha, I've just deselected him there. Can't get Mohamed Salah. And let's just, add here those that I can afford in that price bracket as well. So Lookman, I've already got. Elise, he's in the price bracket, but I think he's not really been getting much minutes. And yeah, I don't think he even played in the last Bundesliga match for Bayern. Kimmich isn't attacking enough. So obviously, if I'm going to get someone basically as a replacement, needs an attacking player, there aren't really that many options. Barcola, Pedri, nope. All of these, Rodri obviously is injured. Bernardo's, yeah, there's not much there. So clearly, I'm going to have to just up it a bit. I'm going to push it up to 9 million. And at that price range, specifically, I want to get a buy and cover, if I'm being perfectly frank, because must-win match. They're playing Slovan Bratislava, who are eliminated, so there's no way they can even compete for a playoff place. And again, in my other video, I basically have confirmed that I've looked at the numbers, looked at the minutes, and between Sane, Musiala, and Serge Gnabry, he's the one who I feel is X-Min's safe. So I'm going to pick him, and it means I've got to sell a player in this. So Kane I won't, Gyökeres I won't, Haaland I won't, Foden I won't, Lookman I potentially could, but then if I was to do that, I don't think there's that many options at 5.4 million. If I just lock this here, just confirm it for you now, just out of the match day points as well, like just that was the most recent one. That I literally can't think of a player who I'd go all out for. I'm just sorted by price as well. Yeah, no one really comes to mind in that price. Oh, Morgan Rogers, to be fair, is an option. So let's not just rule it out completely. I think Morgan Rogers is an option for me. But then the question is, in this format, just to confirm, the date, all of the teams are playing on the 29th. So there isn't that stick and twist element. So I'm starting 3 strikers. I'd have to bench one of these players. And if I get Morgan Rogers, Musiala, Foden, Wirtz, Pulisic, I mean, Morgan Rogers could be a sub 1 if I really wanted it. But then the bench be Emre Can, Hernandez, and Luka Dean perhaps. Got Timber there as well. So it could potentially work. So that's one option there. My other way of thinking was that I'd get rid of Hernandez and left with a £4.2 million defender, really. So kind of cut short there. I mean, looking at the options at 4.2 million defense specifically, there really aren't that many. I think if you look at the, just confirm it, affordable players, looking at the match day points in particular, it was Giga of Red Star Belgrade, who had a good haul against PSV, albeit they lost last match day. Young Boys, that is a relatively easy fixture, but you know, beach football, you don't know what's going to happen in that particular match. And am I really going to sell Hernandez against Dynamo Zagreb? He's been a bit of a disappointment in this like UCL Fantasy season. Not a single double-digit haul, despite all of his attacking prowess. So I could go to Giga, and that's basically 0.2 million in the bank, or I could go for the Morgan Rogers option, because with this way, it makes 3-4-3 work more effectively for me. In terms of the goalkeepers, who would I start? Got Karnaseki against Barcelona, or it'll be Minan against Dynamo. Of course, it would be Minan in this instance. And the three defenders that I'd start would be Emre Can, who did start over the weekend, Luca Dean, and Justin Timber. To get my Justin Timber, Jurian Timber. So start him, and then the midfield would be Musiala, Foden, Wirtz, Pulisic. So I'd bench Lookman in this case, and then Kane, Gyökeres, and Haaland. So that's basically the options that I've got available, and I am going to make my transfers right now. So it is a tough one, but I'm thinking I just do not know what to expect with Giga, and like Young Boys have nothing to play for, neither do Red Star Belgrade, and part of me thinks actually I'd want Theo Hernandez, 10% owned as well. So at least if I get rid of Lookman, sort it by midfielders who are affordable, just get this up there, and just out of the highest owned ones, I can get Gittins as well. Actually, just realised that's an option as well there. So he's not really done much of late, despite his promising initial start. There's really a choice between Gittins, not going to get Gravenberch, of course, and Rogers. That's really it. Those are the two options, and got a 4.1 million defender in Paulo Bernardo. So didn't realise they went that cheap in that price range. That's good to know. But again, not in this format, it wouldn't work. So I think with Morgan Rogers as a sub one, just not done much. So I think he'll be safe points wise, not going to hemorrhage points on the bench. So Minan in goal, and the three defenders, I could bench Timber in this case as well, actually, against Girona. So I'd work that out. We get team news beforehand, so can make changes accordingly. Of course, Ristovski wouldn't get any minutes. So 0.4 million in the bank, unlimited transfers the match day after for the playoffs. Let's review the transfers. Am I willing to sell Lookman? Actually, let's cancel it. Because even if I kept Lookman, I wouldn't start him because I'd have to bench a player, and I'd be more comfortable in benching Rogers as opposed to Lookman. And of course, if Atalanta do confirm their place in those final stages, I'd almost certainly pick Lookman again. Can't sell Wirtz. Pulisic, I know he's returned from injury. Not really done much of late, but easier fixture. So yeah, it's a reluctant sell, but I've got no other option here. Got who I'm bringing Rogers in. It's all to get Musiala in, really. He needs to get double-digit haul against Slovan Bratislava. So let's confirm that. Just give it a final look over. So 2 free transfers. Rafinha and Lookman out. Rogers and Musiala in. I think that's a fair trade there. So, ordinarily I would then sort it by date. So let's get Pulisic subbed in. Rogers goes down. And got Luca Dean, Celtic at home. Hernandez Dynamo Zagreb, Emre Can. If I found out that, oh, Emre Can isn't starting again, or another player, I'll get Timber in. So that shouldn't be an issue there. Let's confirm it. And yeah, Minen in goal. So Captain Kane against Slovan Bratislava, knowing that Bratislava are eliminated and Bayern need a big win and hope that results go their way. Gyökeres and Haaland up top, must-win matches for them. Musiala, ex-Min safe and in need of a big haul as well to assist Bayern. Foden, must-win. Pulisic, it's a must-win. Same with Wirtz, albeit it's a must-win for different reasons. Emre Can, must-win. Hernandez, must-win. Lucadine, must-win. And then Minen in goal. And Timber would come in the event one of those players doesn't start. Ristovski, and let's just switch the bench order as well, because I'd want to promote, although it doesn't really matter in UCL Fantasy, that Rodgers and Timber are my options if any of these players, if I get confirmation beforehand that they don't start. So there you have it. That is the lineup for Matchday 8. I think it's very strong, hoping for a healthy number of points for this match day. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the transfers right? Have I got the transfers wrong? Have you got a chip that you're going to be using for match day 8? If it's limitless, be sure to check out my Limitless Chip video, link in the description below. Hopefully none of you've got a wild card, because otherwise match day 8 wild card, next match day unlimited transfers, and then 2 match days after you're back to unlimited transfers. So it's literally you've either got no chip or you've got unlimited transfers. So there you have it. Take care and all the best.